Flight Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.
Flight Sports TV, that's where it's at.
Flight Sports TV.
What's going on, people? It's Flight Sports TV. I appreciate y'all for checking with me. Y'all already know what it is, man. We back with another one for the people, something legendary. You already know. Shout out to all my boxing fans. You already know we was going to bring the real exclusive content to the people. We're not going to start this if we don't got nothing good. Right now is without further ado for me to welcome my special guest this evening, boxing fighting legend. You understand? Jeff Mayweather. How you feeling today, sir?
I'm good. I'm just kind of just laid back because Christmas just passed, and had me a little nice Christmas meal, but that's about it.
Yeah, definitely shout out to the money team. I see you already promoting the brand already. It's not hard to see.
I should be promoting my own brand.
Shout out to you, sir. Like I said, everybody joining in, I need everybody to hit that like button and most definitely hit that subscribe button. Any questions, get in the comment section right now. We will be getting to those shortly. So right now, Jeff, before we get started into all the boxing questions and everything everybody came to see, where you from? Let everybody know where you from, where this journey started.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. Grand Rapids, Michigan. My nephew is funny because he says 846 Adams. That's basically where all of everything started.
Right. Yeah, that seems like the essence of it. So, getting into the fighting world, what gravitated to you, not only yourself but your family? What sparked that interest in you guys?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I never cared about boxing. I'm the only one that never cared about boxing. And I had a great relationship with my brother Roger. And I was more like his shadow. Whatever he did, I did because I just wanted to hang out with him. And so eventually I went to the boxing gym and he said, if you're gonna be here, he said, you need to learn how to fight. He said, you're gonna be here anyway, so why not learn how to fight? And so that's how I really got started, just because of Roger, not because of something that I wanted to do. It was just my love for being around him. And so of course I did exactly what he said. But I worked extremely hard because I didn't want to embarrass no one in my family, because I know that my heart wasn't really into it as much. And so then what ended up happening, that was how my amateur career started. And then it's funny that I'm here today solely because of Roger, not because of it being my choice, because of Roger. And basically what ended up happening was, of course, I went to college first, and I graduated from college with my degree in graphic design. And so what happened was, on the day I graduated, I got a call while I was walking across the stage.
Right.
And it was Roger, but I couldn't answer the phone on stage, of course. And plus, I had already told my mom that I wasn't going to box because she didn't really want me to box at all because I was the one that went to, I went to college. So she wanted me to be the brain and be the smart guy. But, what ended up happening was at some point I said to myself that I'm going to take this journey. I'm going to take this journey because I don't want to lie to myself. I don't want to lie when I see somebody on TV fighting and I say, oh, I can beat that guy or I can beat this guy, And so I throw myself in the game. But what ended up happening was, I kept telling my mom because, I had a job already that I could have took. And I would go downtown and dress up in suits every day.
Right.
but all I would do was go eat lunch. And so then I would come back home and say, no, I ain't got nothing. And so then basically when about a week after, Roger said, okay, well, I'm going to bring you out to Vegas. But when he brought me out to Vegas, basically he already had me a place to stay, already had me a manager, and already had me a car. So, right. It was like, okay, I didn't come here for that. I just came here to have some fun.
Right.
But of course, I went ahead and I accepted everything. And basically that's when, my career started as a professional.
Right. Do you ever think back on what life would have been like if you didn't do that, if you stayed, suit and ties, downtown? You ever think about that?
Well, I mean, I never think about, I guess I never think about it because one thing with me was that when I make choices, I don't regret them. Right. I don't beat myself up over a choice that I made, especially when I was successful at what I did. So there's no reason for me to be, beating myself up over a choice that I made.
Right. So what clicked for you? Because you stated how you really wasn't a boxing guy. You really didn't care for it. When did it start to click for you? What year was it? Was it for 2 years and 3 years and 5? I mean, when did it start to say, what, I really could be a monster at this?
Well, I guess I mean, like when I said that I wanted to challenge myself, and it wasn't really because, that I felt that boxing was my thing. Is just the fact that I didn't want to lie to myself. Like I said, I've seen a lot of guys on TV, and I remember, it's funny because like me and Roger would sit down and we'd watch fights, and Roger was like, I beat that dude. I never said that because I didn't care about that. But then at some point, my mind clicked. That's when it clicked. When I said, well, shoot, I think I can beat this guy too. And so that's how it ended up happening. And so, like I said, I mean, I worked extremely hard, extremely hard because I didn't want to, I didn't want to let Roger down. I didn't want to let nobody in my family down, especially after I made that choice. And what's funny is that I started boxing young though. I started pretty young. I started at about 12 or 13. And then I stopped. I walked away from boxing when I was about I would say about 17, and then what ended up happening was I told my mom that I quit boxing, but what ended up happening was I came home. First, I came home with, my boxing gear and my stuff that I was training in, and have her wash my clothes and wash my hand wraps and stuff like that. And she said, "You boxing again?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm just staying in shape." And next thing you know, that next week, I was on the front page of the Grand Rapids Press.
Right.
Returning to boxing.
Hey, when you're doing things under the radar, sometimes that's the best thing, to do.
Yeah, so of course my mom, she accepted it. She knew I had been doing it long enough to basically cover myself. So she didn't really have that much a problem with it. So I mean, but that's how I got into boxing, and here I am now, 30 years later, still involved in boxing.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying, is that maybe that was my choice that needed to be made. I don't know, but I didn't fail at it, so I can't say that, you know, it wasn't a good choice for me.
You're right about that. So speak about the transition from a fighter to where you are now, you know, your place in the game. Talk to our audience right now on what you're doing, the transition from fighting to now, you know, training.
Okay, well, basically, it's funny. As a trainer, I love boxing. I love it a whole lot more than I ever did as a fighter. And basically, I love it because I'm having a journey with someone else, and basically we're on that journey together, and we're gonna end up, you know, see where we're gonna end up. And the one thing is this, is that once I retired, because I retired from boxing young. I retired at 32 years old.
Right.
Because me, myself, if I didn't get to where I wanted to be by that time, was no need for me to do it no more, you know. And I already knew that I could walk away and, you know, and get a job or something else. But what ended up happening was I had a good friend, a very, very good friend of mine. And we used to hang out every day. And we would, you know, that's when like Sega Genesis was out. So some people won't even know what that is. But yeah, but we used to play that probably 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
As soon as we would come from the gym, we would play all night. And so it's funny, he said, because I used to go to his fights all the time, and then I used to yell instructions, and he used to do whatever I tell. He didn't care about who was in his corner. And basically what ended up happening was, he said, Jeff, he said, would you train me? I said, no. He said, why not? He said, because I listen to you. And so he's my very, very first fighter. His name is David Sample. And this is when I knew it was the right thing for me, because he was a fighter, didn't have no big time promoter behind him or anything, but I took him to a world title.
Wow.
And, you know, and unfortunately he didn't win, but, you know, it validated me to let me know that this is what I need to do. This is the right thing for me. If I'm going to be involved in boxing, this is the right thing, because I took a guy with no type of backing at all and ended up, you know, fighting for a world title, you know. And most of the time, guys don't get no world title shot if they're not with, you know, a Don King or Bob Arum, or, you know, and, you know, all these big time promoters. But we made it. We made it there. And then basically that became, you know, for me, that became what motivated me more than anything, you know. And I've trained multiple world champions. You know, I've trained at least 8 world champions myself. And so basically, I think I'm doing the right thing. And I mean, it's weird that I trained Celestino Caballero, 5-time world champion.
Right.
And he won 2 world titles with me. But the one thing is this, it was so weird, because I was at one of Floyd's fights, and a good friend of his came up to me, and I never seen this guy in my life. Right. And he said, you. Yeah, and it's funny, he pointed to me. He said, you. He said, you're the one. I'm like, one what? He said, you're the one going to train my brother. I said, okay. And I said, what's his name? And so then he told me his name. I never even heard of Celestino. And so basically I went and did my research, you know, and seeing that this was a guy that was extremely special, a guy that was 6 foot tall, featherweight, and had already won, you know, the world title 3 times.
Right.
And so, I mean, I don't, you know, it's basically, I mean, I guess it was just God. He was God sent to me, because basically I didn't know him. He didn't know me. And he was a world champion. When you a world champion, everything is right. Or, you know, I mean, why would you leave your camp? You know, for me, somebody that you never even seen or never even, you know anything about. And they took a chance on me, and basically me and him became great friends. And that's one thing with me, that I'm not just a coach, you know. I'm one of those coaches that where if you having problems, if there's anything going on in your life that's, you know, that's bothering you, I mean, I have a bed you can sleep on, you know, until you get that right. And so, you know, so I'm basically more like a life coach. But with him, it was amazing to me. But in not only once did that happen, that happened to me also with Shannon Briggs. Shannon Briggs was, you know, one of the top contenders in the world.
Right.
And so, but he was looking for somebody to train him. And basically, I was reached out to by his manager, and of course I ended up training him, and he ended up winning the world title, you know. And but unfortunately, I ended up, because Shannon has so much talent, and I thought that he would probably be one of the best heavyweights in the history of boxing. That's how talented he was. But he had so many yes men around him that, you know, it would never happen.
Right.
And basically I was telling him, you know, that, you know, at this time Floyd was just on the rise, but I was telling him the reason why Floyd is rising so fast is because, you know, he works extremely hard. You know, that's been embedded in him. He works extremely hard. And so what ended up happening is that at some point I went to the manager, because Shannon also, he never let the people around him go. But you just hired me. You just hired me to be your trainer. You know, maybe it just was his manager that did it, but still he, you know, somebody hired me. You know, let me do my job. I don't need these other guys that you trained with, you know, 5 years ago or whatever. So basically at some point I just went to the manager and I told him, I said, look, I don't want to be a part of this, you know. And I mean, and, you know, and basically, so I walked away. And once I walked away, I ended up being called by another heavyweight champion. And well, he wasn't a heavyweight champion at the time, but another heavyweight that was actually in Florida, you know. And it's funny because he ended up fighting Shannon, and he ended up taking the world title from Shannon.
Okay.
You know, so that's the last time Shannon had a world title, was when Sultan Ibragimov took the title from him. So I mean, it's weird to me because obviously, you know, I was blessed, because I mean, all these different situations don't happen when it's a person that already, you know, that's already, you know, established. You know, so for some reason these people were calling me, and I don't know why. I mean, I'm being honest, I just don't really know why, because they didn't have to. You know, like I said, I mean, Shannon was already doing great. Celestino was already doing great. Sultan Ibragimov was already doing great. You know, but for some reason, you know, they blessed me to work with them.
Right. That's crazy. For everybody that's joining in right now, because we got a packed house right now. We got Jeff Mayweather right now. Like everybody, the chat is going crazy because they realizing they asking questions about your family and history. Can you let everybody know your family and Floyd Mayweather and things of that nature? So for the chat, so everybody can know.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's funny. Like I said, Floyd Sr. was the first one to start boxing. And it's one of those typical stories that you see, maybe on TV or something. And so basically, he got in a fight with his school teacher. And so once he got in a fight with his school teacher, he had to make a choice. He could go to the juvenile, or he can go and get into a boxing program. And he got into a boxing program and absolutely fell in love with it. And so what ended up happening on his journey was basically Roger probably did the same thing that I did to him. And that's how he got into boxing. And but Roger was supposed to be in boxing because he was bad, real bad. I mean, wow. And he loved to fight. So that was perfect for him. And then, of course, like I said, then I followed suit. I followed him. And Floyd Jr. had no choice. The second he was born, his dad was like this. And basically, we watched one of the greatest fighters in history grow up under his tutelage. And basically, it's funny because when we lived in Grand Rapids, his dad was training him at, when he was like probably about 5 or 6 years old. And basically, around about when he was 6 or 7, he would be running all around the city doing his road work. Everybody was like, that dude crazy. Who is he? Because they didn't know that his dad was with him. They just thought it was a little kid out there crazy running around the whole city. But what ended up happening was that same little kid that everybody thought was crazy ended up becoming exactly what we all thought he was going to be. Because the stuff that you guys see, at the level he's at, when he was fighting, he was already doing that at the age of probably about 9 or 10. That's how good he was. And basically, we would tell anyone within ear reach of us that, that he would one day probably become one of the greatest fighters in history. And that happened, and I mean, and it's funny because I would tell my friend, and the one thing is when you tell somebody that, they don't believe it. They just think that you kindle this person, so that's why you saying it. No, I mean, every single person in my family believed that he would be exactly where he is today. That's what happened.
That's unbelievable. That's historic. And Floyd Mayweather, for the people, what's your relation to Floyd Mayweather Sr., Floyd Mayweather Jr.? Even though I know, but just for the chat, seems like we got some people asking silly questions.
That's all right. I mean, that's good if they don't know. I mean, of course, Floyd Sr. is my oldest brother. And of course, Floyd Jr. is his son, so it makes him my nephew.
Right, absolutely. This is very historic, so that's why I'm saying we damn near half hour into the interview. I didn't even get to that because I wanted to focus the attention on you today, Jeff, to give you the red carpet, the floor. And like obviously as a trainer, we're gonna get into some questions. I open up the panel right now, but the last question, you as the trainer, right? You're walking into a gym, right? What are you looking for in a fighter? What is it that you're looking at for the guy that you say, that's the guy that's going to the next level? What are you looking for?
Well, I'll be honest, I never looked for a fighter, ever. I never had to. I mean, once somebody seen me training, they would ask me to become their trainer. You know, I guess I was blessed in that aspect as well. But, you know, but when someone comes to me, you know, I'll be honest with them. You know, everybody's not going to be, of course, everybody's not going to be Floyd. Everybody's not going to be, you know, even make it in boxing. You know, I had one kid that I was friends with. And actually he was Joe Lewis's grandson. And of course, since he was Joe Lewis's grandson, everybody wanted to use him, you know, for his name and for his value of being attached to him. And but he fought in the amateurs for a very long time. And, you know, and so he wasn't really, you know, where he should be. And me and him was really close friends. And being that we're close friends, I told him, I said, I will work with you. But I said, when I say it's over for you. I said, because you already have, you know, some of the ill sides that what happens to people in boxing, you know. But I mean, he was an amazing guy and extremely intelligent. But, you know, so finally that day came and I told him, I said, look, I said, our journey is over. You know, I said, you're still my friend. I'm always going to love you. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm not going to be a part of it. And he was so upset, but he had to take it out on someone. He wouldn't take it out on me because he couldn't control me. So he took it out on his wife. He was mad and told her, well, you shouldn't have been arguing with me and all this. All that. I said, look, let me tell you something. I said, if you would have won, you would have never said a word to her. I said, it would have been like all the other times that you won. I said, don't put the blame on her. I said, I already told you that, you know, this may happen one day and the time is now. And the one thing that I liked about it was about 2 or 3 months later, he just happened to run into me somewhere.
Right.
And he said, thank you. He said, thank you. He said, I just, you know, he said, I was just caught in the heat of the moment. And basically, you're right. You're 100% right. And basically, so I was glad to see that because, you know, I didn't want to be a part of somebody getting hurt that, you know, that I really cared for.
Right. Isn't that one of the most toughest parts of business? You know, you got to come, you know, sit down and talk to these people. Hey, man, you know, maybe it's not right the right time, things of that nature. It's just business sucks. You know, it just sucks. And these conversations have to be made. But we're about to open up the panel for some legendary questions. You know, we ain't going to hold you up too long. But before we open up the panels, you know, can you let everybody know that Jeff Mayweather, the money team, straight from the money team, just was on Flight Sports TV today. We would love you to give us a nice drop for the channel. To be an honor.
Okay, what I need to say?
Well, all you gotta do is say, you know, this is Jeff Mayweather from the money team. You know, you rocking with.
But I'm not on the money team. I'm not part of the money team.
Well, just say this is Jeff Mayweather. You know,
okay.
You're on the Flight Sports TV.
Okay. Now let me say that again. Oh, okay. Let me see. This is Jeff Mayweather, and what else?
Say this is Jeff Mayweather, and you're tuned in to Flight Sports TV. Don't turn.
Okay, I got it now. Okay, this is Jeff Mayweather, and you're tuned in to Flight Sports TV.
Perfect. That's honorable. We appreciate that. That's all we need. That's legendary, man. And like I said, we about to get even more legendary right now because we got a legendary panel for a legendary man. You know, so we're gonna start off with some great questions right now. We got all access in the building. What's the deal?
Yes, sir. Shout out to Flight Sports TV, the machine, the voice of the voiceless, the people's champ. He gives you what you need, and what you need, he's willing to give. Yes, sir, my brother Jeff. It's an honor and a pleasure, and I'm humbled to be a part of this historic event on Flight Sports TV. I know you're being kind of humble and modest, but we know you the truth, okay? So you don't have to be so humble and modest. We know you the truth. We want to know, on the rundown, who all did you train, what class, and how many belts that you achieved during your training experience?
I trained. Let me see. The first person I ain't gonna say the first person I won the title with was a female. She was a 6-time world champion, Jessica Rakoczy. Then, of course, I won two titles with Celestino Caballero. He, of course, he won the title. I mean, he had lost the title. He got robbed, and then we went back and we took the title back from the guy. And then there's a kid named, a lot of people probably don't even know him. His name was Kelvin Concrete Davis. He won a cruiserweight title. Then I had I keep forgetting, but no. And then I trained. I'll tell you other, and then I had Shannon Briggs, of course, won the world championship. Sultan Ibragimov won the heavyweight championship as well. And then I had other guys that were actually former world champions, like DeMarcus Corley. Who else? It's so far back, I can't remember everybody.
Right.
That's a lot. That's a lot, brother Jeff. That's a lot. This is Coffee to the World, everybody. And I want to give shouts out to Flight Sports TV, an incredible channel. I'm telling y'all, this thing gonna be worldwide. This thing gonna be huge. You know, brother Dex and everybody on the panel. This is legendary right here. We got my good friend Jeff Mayweather, who I've been knowing for 6 years. This is my man right here. But I think Jeff been a little humble. Jeff, go back a little bit and tell him when your brother got shot, what happened and how he had to serve time in jail and you had to take over and be in Floyd Jr. corner to train Jr. and how hard that was for the family, how hard that was on little Jeff Jr. and how you had to take over and train you and Roger for Floyd Mayweather, the nephew.
Well, I mean, basically what ended up happening with that whole entire situation was I was reading. Back then, they used to have boxing books that come out, you know, like boxing magazines. And so I was reading the magazine, and Bob Arum said that Floyd Jr. was the best fighter he's seen in the Olympics.
Yes, sir.
Even though he didn't win gold. And so I was already in Vegas. And so being that I was in Vegas, you know, and at this point, Roger and Floyd were basically, you know, it was at odds. So he didn't really want Roger to train his son. And basically, so I basically had to talk to him and let him know that if he's not going to train your son, all the knowledge that you taught him is going to be lost.
Yes, sir.
I said, because someone is going to be stepping in and changing things to make themselves look like they're the ones that did this. And so eventually at some point, I finally got him to agree. While he was locked up, I made a deal with Top Rank to make sure that they take care of him while he's locked up. And I also made it clear to him that the second you're released from jail, you're going to be training your son.
Yes, sir.
And so, you know, Roger agreed to it. Everybody agreed, you know, and basically, so, you know, they stayed true to what they said they were going to do, because I said, I don't want Floyd Jr. having to going through his purse, you know, sending money to his dad. I said, no, let this be you guys' responsibility. And so they did. And so everything kind of like went great, you know, and of course, you know, just like Roger, I mean, Floyd won the world title
Yes, sir.
very, very early. And because Roger won the world title without no Olympic fame or anything like that, you know, he won the world title in 13 fights. And Floyd did the exact same thing against one of the best fighters in that division at the time was Janelle Hernandez. And yes, he defeated him. And it's the funny story that I always tell about Larry Merchant, because he seen me in Mexico, and he saw me we was on the elevator together, and he said, "You guys are crazy." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Having this kid fight Janelle Hernandez right now." I said, "Well, I hate to tell you, it's not your choice to make. It's our choice to make."
Back.
You know? And so basically, and I said that we think that he's ready, and that's all that matter. You know, because he was telling me all these stories about how you have, you know, young fighters that I throw it in too quick and they end up being nothing. But no, we didn't think that. We never thought that. You know, he didn't realize how long this journey was for Floyd to get there, because it started a long time ago. I mean, it started when this kid was about 5 or 6 years old.
Hitting doorknobs. Tell me how you hit them doorknobs. Tell me how you hit them doorknobs. He's hitting doorknobs. Tell him how little Floyd used to hit them doorknobs.
No, he hit everything. anything he could punch. Yeah.
Tell him about your friend. Floyd, tell him about your friend before he started the WWF. How he was with you before he started the WWF. Let him know who that is.
Who?
Your man of the WWF.
I don't know who WWF.
So he used to work with you guys and carrying the bags or whatever, Floyd. What's his name? Who they run the WWF? What's his name?
Vince?
No. He's running the WWF. What's his name? The bald head white guy.
I'm not sure, but I definitely want to bring something to Jeff's attention after this.
Not Arabs.
No, the other one. He running. He was Who
you mean Dana White?
Dana White. Tell about Dana White.
Oh yeah. No, that's UFC. Yeah,
that's UFC.
UFC. My bad. UFC. I'm saying WWF.
You're right.
The hero.
Tell about Dana White.
Me and Dana basically me and Dana is funny because me and him was like extremely close. And basically
facts.
We were getting ready to start. We did boxing aerobics together. You know, that's was something that he was doing, and this before it even got big. And so we were going to do this, and but Billy Blanks beat us to it with the tie ball.
Wow.
You know, and so,
this is history.
And so basically me and Dana, and then I introduced him to Floyd. You know, and of course he was going to do something with Floyd as well. But what ended up happening then, he got approached by, well, he didn't get approached. He actually went to the Fertittas, who actually owns all the station casinos out here. And basically he went to them and told them that, you know, give me a shot at running the UFC. And he said, I promise you guys that I can make it big. And that's what he did, you know.
Right. I want to bring attention to you of a young fighter right now. I would be sorely remiss, and I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I didn't bring this fighter to your attention if you are not familiar already. Let me tell you about this man right here at the age of 18 years old, okay? Coming out of Austin, Texas. Also he worked with your brother back in November. This man's name is Kid Austin. I'm not sure if y'all familiar with this man. The man is a multiple time champion, a couple times over, a record of 8-0, going for 9-0 in February. Jeff, I'm trying to tell you, I put the channel behind this man right here. The dedication, I'm telling you, the intestinal fortitude this man has. I'm telling you, I could feel it through the computer screen. You understand? A beautiful family. You know, just a model fighter. You know, understands the game, respects the game. I'm telling you, this man is on his way to being one of the greatest fighters in the history of boxing, already showing it right now. Are you familiar with the young man of Kid Austin out of Austin, Texas, sir?
I'll be honest. No, I never seen him fight. You know,
right.
So
okay, we're gonna try to get some footage over to you, because I'm telling you, this man is on his way. Also, coming out, also another boxing promotion on his infant stage, but pretty much blowing up every second. It's not even about a day; it's going by the second. Team Freeway Boxing right now. I'm telling you, an executive consultant.
Right.
I'm telling you, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this boxing promotion. The man is already quiet, and it just started about a month or two ago. I'm telling you, the man has acquired so many fighters, it's ridiculous. And mind, all of them are just about undefeated. Boxing, the future of boxing is, I'm telling you, is extensive. I mean, I really think this fight game is really getting started. What's your thoughts on the future of boxing, sir?
Well, I mean, I think that boxing right now is, I mean, it's in a great state. And basically you have so many fights. The only thing is that these top fighters eventually need to fight each other to, you know, for us to have some legendary fights that we'll be talking about 10 or 15 years from now. You know, and I mean, basically, just like the lightweight class, great fighters. The welterweight weight class, great fighters. You know, middleweight, great fighters. You know, so I mean, basically, a lot of these divisions that are actually, I mean, welterweight division always becomes the cream of the crop for some reason. I don't know why that weight class does, but it always does. And of course, I mean, there's great fighters there. You know, there's Terrence Crawford, there's Earl Spence, there's Jerome Ennis, there's and Ugas. You know, the top four guys. I mean, I think that any one of them can beat each other on any given night. You know, and that's great when you have a division where you don't know who's going to be the winner. Just like in the lightweight division, you have Kambosos, you have well, Teofimo, he's moving up in weight class. You have Devin Haney, you have who else? Ryan Garcia. You know, so that's another group of great fighters that can, you know, that can end up being legendary as well.
Right. So you think a problem is that we're not getting the fights that we want? You think what like give me an example of some fights that sailed us by that we sorely missed the past couple years?
Well, I mean, right now I would say Ryan Garcia supposed to fight. He's been Devin Haney's mandatory for over a year, and you're still trying to fight somebody else.
Facts.
Fight the man. Fight the man. You know, if you mandatory, fight him.
Facts.
Right. I one more question. What's your thoughts? Because you got this new guy in the boxing scene, and he's kind of taking it by storm. I'm not sure how, because you're a purist at this. How do you feel about the gentleman by the name of Jake Paul? Are you familiar with this man?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, give us your thoughts on him. Is he good for boxing? And then the full spectrum. Let us know. We would love to know your analysis on this.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I was a part of the very first big one. I trained KSI for that fight when he fought his brother, when he fought Logan Paul. And in the beginning, I thought it was bad. But it's only bad if you're not a part of it.
Thanks.
If you're a part of it, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great because these guys bring a whole different demographic of people to boxing. I went to, they had a weigh-in, Logan Paul and KSI. This is the weigh-in. 10,000 people at a weigh-in. And not a weigh-in that's in an arena, a weigh-in outside.
Yeah.
and so basically, here it is. I'm there, and it's funny to be in a boxing, you know, be in the realm of boxing, and no one knows you. It knows me anyway. And then finally, there was one little kid. He said, "Oh, that's Jeff Mayweather." And then, of course, once he said that, you know, everybody started running to me, but none of them kids knew who I was. You know, so I mean, like I said, and then when I went to the fight, I've never seen so many kids at a fight under the age of 13. You know, so I mean, in that sense, I think that, you know, I think that is good for boxing in that sense. And the one thing is this, is that you can't knock, you know, a guy for doing what he's doing, because I mean, he's bringing millions of fans. He's bringing millions of dollars to people that are retired. They're retired and they still making millions.
Right.
You know, just because they're fighting this person. So, I mean, like I said, if you're a part of it, it's great. If you're not a part of it, you look at it like it's a joke. But I mean, I'm kind of like, I'm on the fence, but I think that anything that makes money makes sense to me. So, I mean,
that's facts.
You know, yeah. So, I mean, basically, that's where I stand on that.
But we're gonna open up the questions to the panel. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, well, I got one for Brother Jeff real fast. Brother Jeff, what was the hardest boxer you had to train, and what was the hardest fight you had to train for?
Let me see. Hardest boxer I had to train. I don't know. I'm gonna tell you why I don't know. Because one thing with me is that if we don't click, I'll let you go right away. I don't waste my time. Right. You know, so I mean, that I can't remember really doing that to anyone, because I'm one of those people that I'll give anybody a chance. You know, and so I mean, if I get rid of you, that means you got to be horrible. You got to be not horrible as a fighter. You just got to be horrible as a person. Because to me, that's more important than how good you fight. To me, is if you're a good person or not. You know, and far as the fight where I had to work the hardest, is that what you said?
Yes. Either you or a boxer you train.
Okay, I think the hardest I worked for a fight was probably with my fight with De La Hoya. And basically, I think I made a wrong decision, even though, because I allowed my brother Floyd to train me. And my brother Floyd, I mean, great trainer.
Facts.
But not great for everyone. Because the reason why it wasn't great for me was because he trained me like he trained his son. I'm too old for that shit. And so this fool got me out here running 8-9 miles. I don't need to be doing that. You know? And so by the time I got to the fight, I was overtrained. You know, I was overtrained. And of course, I would never say that to him, but I was, because I'm not your son. You know what I mean? And so basically, you know, and of course, I know he was training with his heart and trying to do everything right for me.
Facts.
But it was, you know, it turned out to be wrong for me, because by this time I'm like, you know, I'm still in my early 20s, but I never trained that way. You know, I never trained that hard in my life. And it was probably the worst thing that I ever could have done, you know, but you know, it happened.
Right. Let me ask this question. Jeff, I've been knowing you about 6 years. What you think about Coffee to the World, the man himself?
Oh, well, great brother. Great brother. Came out here, stayed with me for a few days. We hung out, and amazing guy, you know. And I'm waiting for you to Coffee for the World to be making millions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm coming back out there. We were just recently at your event, August the 29th, at the BMA's Black Musical Awards, when they honored you guys up there, and it was just a great award show and fantabulous video and highlights of the Mayweather family. I don't think people really understand, you know, how legendary the Mayweather family is through all that adversity, because it was hard, you know, for Floyd Sr. to be locked up, man, and then getting shot by a gun I think he got shot by a family member, didn't he?
On Floyd Jr.'s side, yeah.
You know, so that was difficult. And for you to hold the family up, and you got your bachelor's degree. They don't understand, as a black man in that institution, able to get that degree like that and come out and train some of the most prolific fighters. I was in the gym. I see how you work. I'm there, and you got people in there from Russia and all over in the gym. Everybody's in the gym, and everybody want a part of the TMT. But I saw how you and Floyd, the chemistry y'all got, and Roger, you know, rest in power before he passed away. How the chemistry y'all got, the love that y'all got, the emotional harmony that y'all established with one another, it just was it's no coincidence. And that Floyd Jr. is so incredible because of the uncles that he had in his life, and how much time y'all spend. Y'all spend countless time in that gym. I was there, and people don't see this, that all the children that's in that gym that running up to y'all, giving y'all all that love. So y'all really a true legendary family, and I love that you my brother, and I'm gonna get out there soon, man. I'm gonna get out there probably the next month or so, and we gonna have some more fun, my brother.
All right.
Hey Jeff, this is Black Migo from Apply That Pressure Podcast. So my question for you is, Floyd and Floyd Jr. had a very well documented tumultuous relationship, to the point we saw Floyd kicked him out the gym, to at the end of his career, we saw them embrace in his final fight. What did that mean for you and the family to watch them come back together again?
Well, I mean, for me, it was great because everything became full circle. You know, I mean, and because, you know, they went through that, because one thing about Senior is this, you know, he's kind of like Little Richard. and when I say that, I'm serious. When I say that,
I'm gonna tell him too. I'm gonna tell him you said. I'm gonna tell him too.
And because he's one of those that he don't like to be overlooked. He's one of those people that say, I done this and you're gonna give me credit for doing it. And basically what he was doing was pretty much, he was upset because, you know, like I said, him and Roger, they had some issues with one another, you know, and basically, so he was a little upset about that. And, you know, because by this time, him and his dad had broke up, and then Roger was training Floyd Jr. at the time, and then he came into the gym and basically was saying that, you know, I did this, I did that, I did this, you know, and it's kind of sad now that Roger's not here, because it's one of those things where I don't think that they ever had closure between them, because now Roger is buried probably about 5 or 6 blocks from where Floyd Sr. lives. And he goes there almost every day.
Wow.
You know, so basically, you know, I know that he wished that he could have that time back, you know, but he can't. You can't get time back.
Facts.
You know, and so basically that's something that, you know, he's dealing with, you know, and hopefully at some point, you know, hopefully he'll just, you know, move on and not let that, you know, hinder him anymore. Because I mean, that's just like you arguing with somebody and that person dies in the morning. You know, you arguing with them at night and that person dies in the morning.
Facts.
You blame yourself for
Facts.
arguing with them, you know, and that's the one thing that I always say is that never go to sleep with anger.
Facts.
You know, but yeah, so, you know, and to be honest, when that happened on because that was on 24/7, I think it was HBO, yeah. And so basically what ended up happening was Roger took the higher road. Roger said, look, talk to your dad. Don't talk to your dad that way. Don't disrespect your father for me. You know, and so basically I was glad to see that Roger took the right route, you know, and of course, like I said, in the end, you know, everything came back full circle. So everything was all right.
Great points. And like I said, this was an amazing interview. Honorable. We're so honored to have a legend like you in the building with so much years in the fight game. I mean, I'm telling you, you got so much to give to all fighters. It's unbelievable. Any other questions? We got Black Amigo. Did you ask any questions to the legend Jeff Mayweather?
Yeah, I did. I got another one.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna get some last calls, last questions. We're gonna hold them up all night.
No, that's all right.
I got a question.
Okay, all right.
So who,
Yeah, I
in
got
your
a question,
opinion?
Flight.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Ask him. Go ahead. Okay, good. Hey, look. Okay, now with or anything like that, we're gonna go right back to boxing because hey Jeff, I had heard when you said that you wasn't when Flight had asked you about Kid Austin, you said you wasn't aware of him. Man, please look here, Jeff. I beg you, man. Look here, ask your nephew about that boy Kid Austin, Jeff. And not only that, Jeff, look at his game, because look at his age. What bothers me about him is he's good. He's fast and he's strong. He's just young. But then when you already know as a boxing coach and everything, a manager and everything, you already know you can't bring a young guy too fast into this business because he might lose weight. He might get hurt one time and it might hurt his spirit. But I need you to watch him, man. Here, Jeff,
I mean, but what is
watch him, man.
but what is his amateur background?
His amateur right now, as far as I know, we'll have some more information, but he's 8-0 right now. Like I said, he's running through the whole circuit in Texas right now. He fought at the Brawl for Broadway right there in Austin, Texas, where he won the NBF, WBC, NBAF super light heavyweight title. You understand? That I'm not 100% sure the title that he's fighting for in February, but I do know that is another title fight this February. All the details have not been disclosed just yet, but there is a major fight with Kid Austin this February.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like I said, you will hear more information from him. Yes.
No, I'll check him out.
Thanks, Jeff.
He got some on YouTube?
Oh, absolutely got something on YouTube. We'll get all of that too. You got a YouTube channel, a bunch of fights, knockouts, the whole nine. Like I said, he trained with your brother, in November. Back in November, he was training with a lot of guys. I'm telling you, he was training with Tank. You know, listen, this man, I'm shocked at all the things that's going on. I ain't even shocked. I'm just like I said, I was crazy that all this happening. You know,
it's just that Floyd Senior trained so many people. So if y'all give me that information, I'll shoot it to Jeff. Give me the YouTube, and I'll shoot it to Jeff. But I can assure you this, Jeff, when he say he's a man of his word, he gonna check him out for real. He gonna check out because he check out everybody. So many people been through go in that gym. He'll be like, man, thousands and thousands of people. But when y'all give me that information, I get it right to Jeff, and I promise you, he gonna check it out because Jeff a man of his word.
Hey Jeff, what do you think about Tank Davis so far? Do you think he gets the respect that he deserves?
Well, I mean, of course, I mean, you have fighters that in your weight class, they're always going to disrespect you. But to me, you can't disrespect the guy that has, 27 fights, 25 knockouts.
Facts.
You gotta respect him. And the one thing is this is that, out of all the fighters in that weight class or any given night, I also think that either one of them can beat each other. But at the same time, Tank has something that none of the other ones have. And that's one punch knockout power. And so that's all it takes is one punch for him to change everything. So I mean, whether it means that he's the best in the division, no, it doesn't mean that. But like Devin Haney, this last fight, to me, he got hit way too much. And so if he gets hit like that by Tank, it's over. Not saying that if Devin shows up, that the Devin that I know that I trained years and years ago, no. I mean, he has a great chance against anybody.
Right.
But I just think that, that's the one thing that he has over everyone that, that makes him different.
Hello, Jeff. Mayweather, man. I do have a question. This is Rave Kingdom.
Shout out to Rave Kingdom. Shout out to the chat too. Shout out DJs Raw and Uncut True. Shout out all the legends in the building. I see AB, Rico, all the people that's in the building. We appreciate you. You already know we're bringing a legendary interview with Flight Sports TV exclusive. Jeff Mayweather is in the building. Y'all already know who this man is. Y'all better start acting like y'all know it's Flight Sports TV.
Facts.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's facts, man. Jeff, we appreciate you.
All right, Jeff.
To hear the wisdom that you're speaking, and I know you are been through it all, and we see that, and we want to continue to, like, anytime you want to use this channel as a voice, you want to show, you want to advertise anything, man. And I welcome you as well. I felt I'm a little under the weather, so I'm a little late. So I'm usually here with Flight all the time, but I do have a question for you, and that question is, one thing is, I'm young, and a lot of people here have a little wisdom under there. Some is young, but some is older. How do you manage in life when you had your boxing, whether it was school, whether it was this, whether it was that? How did you manage everything? Because I do know that's what you had to do.
Well, I mean, myself, I'm one of those people that, my mind is my strongest tool.
Right.
And basically, being that my mind is my strongest tool, I always have a positive mindset. And if I'm dealing with something, and if I'm really dealing with something that seems like it's too big for me to deal with, you know what I do? I allow my mind to take me away from what is bothering me. And I can put myself on an island, anywhere I want to be, except dealing with a problem.
Wow. All right. That's amazing, man. I mean, I'm 23 years old, and now 24. My birthday was a couple of days ago. And And every time I come here on Fight Sports TV, I'll talk my information, but man, I'll be listening to a lot of people, sometimes a little older, because they teaching me new everything, and you just taught me something as well, and that's going to I'm really appreciate that. It's going to really help me in life because I know I have a lot of I know I got a lot of stuff going on. So.
I mean, like I said, the most important thing is to keep a positive mindset. And sometime when you're dealing with something, do something that makes you feel good about yourself. I mean, I don't care what it is. Just make sure you do something for yourself that you feel good about.
Right.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Jeff. I'm not being
Give us
funny.
some questions in the chat too. We're gonna answer some questions in the live chat. Go ahead, Uncle Vern.
Okay, hey, Jeff. Look here, I'm gonna tell you something. You as a young man, you could go all the way around the world. I'm gonna tell you something. They won't know your name. They won't know your first name. They'll see your face. They know who you is, boy. You can't go commit no crime nowhere in America. If I was you, Jeff, I stay on the street, Daryl. You can't go nowhere in the world, and everybody in their mama know,
I'm not
boy,
do that.
you a Mayweather.
You know what's
That's
funny?
Mayweather.
No, but I'm gonna tell you something. You know what's funny is that people know me more from YouTube than ever known me for boxing. But
Yeah.
I have a story where I was in China, right? And so when I was in China, it was like one person came to me and said, "Can they take a picture with me?" By the time the picture was getting ready to get taken, there's probably about 60 people in the picture.
Nice.
I was like,
Yeah. I ain't surprised.
I was like, how did this happen?
Yeah, Mayweather's cold, man. Mayweather legendary, man. Mayweather's amazing. That's just an amazing family and using an amazing black man. And I'm glad that that connection could be made with Flight Sports TV because
Yes, sir.
this is a growing channel, and it
Yes,
needs to
sir.
hear from brothers like you, and brothers like Floyd Mayweather Sr., just like LeVar Ball is taking over in terms of black men that care about family, black men that believe in raising the family, especially the nuclear family. We don't have enough black men out here that's doing what you're doing, and LeVar Ball and other black fathers out here that really care about their children. We need to hear from black men. That's no disrespect to the women, but we need to hear from black men because black men it counts and it matters out here. I think Brother Dex had a question for Jeff Mayweather. Brother Dex?
Actually, I didn't really have a question. I would just bear witness to what you were saying, Coffee. Far as far as us being more pivotal and impactful in our family structure. Yeah, I agree with that. But I really don't have a question, but I would like to know what was it like being in Mayweather's corner, and what are some of the things that you share with him while he was out there fighting that consequently gained him a championship title?
Well, I mean, basically, at the time when I was in Floyd's corner, I was more his manager than I was his trainer or anything like that. Roger was his trainer, and when you're in the corner with a trainer that knows what they're doing, you keep your mouth shut. And so that's what I did. I kept my mouth shut.
And you learned a lot. You learned a lot from Roger. You learned a lot.
Oh, of course.
Hey, Jeff, can we get it on wax? Who do you think is well? Let's do this because I know that's kind of hard. Who's your top 5 boxers of all time?
Top 5. Muhammad Ali. Of course, my nephew.
Facts.
Ray Robinson.
Ooh.
For different reasons, Joe Louis. And let me see. Probably I don't know. This last one. I
No
don't
Rocky
know. I mean,
Marciano.
I was gonna say Rocky Marciano too. But what did Roger say? Didn't Roger say? I think Roger said. What's his name, Jeff?
Yeah, he couldn't tie his bootlace or something like that.
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, of course. I guess I would say Rocky Marciano because
Right.
the one thing is this is that I mean, obviously he did something. You know, Floyd had to win 50 fights to surpass him.
Facts.
So he did something. And and basically he came in a rough time, but at the same time, of course, things are different than they are back then because boxing was really, really ran by the mob. And of course, he probably was attached to it, you know. And I mean, skill wise, he wasn't that great to me. I mean, when I watch him fight, but to still see
bartenders,
still to see that him, if he won every fight, he's got to be great. Got to be a great fighter.
Yes. What about Mike Tyson? Where you categorize him?
I mean, Tyson is up there too. Okay. You know, but I mean, and maybe I should have said him because I mean I do believe that Tyson is better. No, I'm serious. I do believe that Tyson is better than Rocky Marciano.
Facts.
You know, but the one thing that you gotta realize is this: Mike Tyson also had a great manager. I mean, not manager, promoter, and Don King.
Don King.
Yes, sir.
You know, and he helped Mike Tyson to become who Mike Tyson was.
Yep, that's right. What about Larry Holmes? What do you think about Larry Holmes?
Yeah, Larry Holmes too. I mean, like I said, there's so many. When you say five, you really can't pick five. I mean,
that was a good question though.
Larry Holmes was probably one of the greatest fighters in history too, but he beat Muhammad Ali, and he came in his era. He would never get the credit he deserves because of that.
Exactly.
We got DJ Wrong Cut in the building. I think he got a question. DJ Wrong Cut.
Yeah, he says about George Foreman. I'm biased because I'm from Houston. What do you think about George Foreman?
Another great fighter. You know, but I'm saying, I mean, when you say, but what I'm saying, but when you say five, I mean, really, five is not enough.
Facts.
You know, but yeah, George Foreman was a great fighter too.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Well, one moment, I cannot.
Sugar Ray Leonard, yes, definitely.
I don't feel like George.
I mean, he was one of my favorite fighters at one point. Sugar Ray Leonard was
my favorite fighter also.
What about Thomas Hearns? That's Trent saying that Thomas Hearns.
Another one. That's what I'm saying. When you ask a question like that, everybody can't be a part of it. So I picked who I thought.
That's facts. That's big facts.
Yeah, those are some good fighters you picked though. That five is difficult to sort out five, and you hit it. You hit it right on the button with that.
I got a question. I don't know if we got to the heavyweight. Did we get to the heavyweights yet?
A little bit.
What is? I got a question for you, Jeff. What does Deontay Wilder do now? What's next?
I mean, he can still come back, but the one thing is this. I mean, first of all, that last fight he did was complete garbage. And I'm gonna say it because I think that if he would have actually took a tune-up fight with all that stuff that he was doing and all that stuff that he was working on and lifting all them damn weights, he probably would have known. He probably would have known that shit was no good for him. You know, even with a lesser fighter. But he went blind. He went in there blind. You know, lifting all these weights, and then going in there, did some new stuff for about 2 rounds, and then went right back to being Deontay Wilder of old. And that's what happens.
Say some new stuff about 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not knocking him. It's the truth. you know, and basically, because I mean, I'm a big fan of Wilder, but the one thing is this is that, like I said, I mean, you don't take a fight against a guy that, you know, beat you that bad, you know, the last time, and then not take a fight in between to work. You worked on all these different new combinations. You worked on the worst thing you did was lift all those weights, because that's why seemed like he was, you know, like he was dead by round 4.
Facts.
For starters, I would like to say this, Jeff Mayweather. I hope you feel like you had the red carpet today. I'm gonna appreciate you, Dex and Flight, for holding it down on the red carpet. Everybody, we are on a red carpet.
Let them know. Let them know.
Coffee too.
Dex. Let them know, Dex.
Listen. I want everybody to hit that like button and appreciate what's going on, because I told you guys on Flight Sports TV, you never know. You're supposed to be here because we have outstanding people that speak in the gospel. And we have Jeff Mayweather right now giving us the gospel in the preaching class. So please, let's not make that to a joke or anything, because we want to exceed and excel in what we do. And I do appreciate you again, Jeff.
Facts. And giving him his flowers while he's here. This is what Flight Sports TV do. They give your flowers while you're here. It's important that we honor our black men, especially a legend. That's a legend, giving our jewels, giving our gems, insightful information for every young boxer in the game, for every trainer in the game coming up. You can learn a lot from this brother right here and his family if you've been watching, unless you've been living under a rock. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the Mayweather fact, you've been living under a rock. But Jeff Doyle is a legend.
Just don't know boxing.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, like Roger say, you niggas don't know shit about boxing. You know what I'm saying? You know, but we appreciate you, brother, and giving your flowers while you're here is important. We so happy that you dropping these jewels on us and the trainers and worldwide, all over the worldwide, because that's amazing. When we come like this, sticking together like this, Flight Sports TV gonna be huge, bigger than ESPN, bigger than all the other stations out here, and it's black home. We love that right there. That's what we're about. You know what I'm saying? Giving the flowers while we're here. And Jeff, we loving you, my brother. And that brother Ray, that young brother, happy belated birthday. He's going to be an exciting brother in the game, because when you get brothers like that, that's 24, that's able to expand their mindset, open up their mindset, that's a great brother right there, because he's going to help the other generation and as well as our generation. So we appreciate you, Jeff, man, because you're really special to the unit, man.
And listen, let me say this. I'm going to say, and you never know who you're making smile right now, or who's listening. You never know who's listening to this important information. It's not even just basketball. You never know who you can learn from, whether it's the guy across the street or whether it's a guy that's all the way in India. It doesn't matter. You can always learn. You can always grow.
My bad, Rev. I want to say something. Oh yeah, before Jeff departs us right here, I want to let you know, Jeff, at Flight Sports TV, the door is always open for you. Anything that you ever want to say, anything, we got the door open for you. It's an honor for us to have you. I hope today that this is the start of a beautiful partnership between Flight Sports TV, Jeff Mayweather, and the whole Mayweather camp, and everything you got going on. We want to be a supporter, of everything you got going on. We truly want to see you win, sir. And here at Flight Sports TV, we're gonna keep pushing every single day. We appreciate you, Jeff.
I appreciate you guys as well.
Yes.
It's not like I don't want to give him no flowers, right? I don't want to give him any flowers. What I want to give him is kind of heavy, and I don't know if I have enough strength to carry it and place it on his head. I'm talking about a crown with jewels. That's what brother Jeff Mayweather deserves. He deserves more than flowers. He deserves a crown with jewels, because he has helped young men build their lives financially as well as psychologically, and gave them the confidence they need to get in that ring and challenge those who oppose them.
Yes, sir. And yes, sir. And notice what he said, Dex. He said he loved training more than when he was an actual fighter.
That's right.
Which means as a trainer, he's very instrumental in that fighter's life and he's giving us so much motivation and so much insightful information. So, like you said, Brother Dex, need to get that brother his crown, man. That crown is, like, you know,
a heavy crown, Brother Coffee, a heavy crown.
Right, a heavy crown. Fuck them flowers. Give him, I take that back, Jeff. I take that back, Jeff. I take that back. Get the motherfucking flowers back. Take the crown, man. Take the crown.
You don't want them orchids. You don't want them orchids. You don't want none of that.
Yeah, I'm talking about some gems and jewels in that crown. Yes, sir.
Fact. Hey, Jeff, brother, like, you got Flights TV, you got podcasts like Flights TV, you got AB the Hero, you know, you got Ball Facts. These brothers coming on. These some good brothers coming up in the game, Jeff. And then like Flight
DJ Raw Uncut.
Yeah, DJ's Raw Uncut.
DJ Raw Uncut. DJ Raw Uncut. You know,
we can be going on for days.
We can go on. You know, and
SMG,
another good brother, DJ Raw Uncut. Another good brother, Jeff. Right. Yep. These brothers be Hayes.
Nico Savage.
These brothers be in tune. And this 20 about to be 2022. So we're gonna come together even more strong as a collective. Because like Fat Joe say, y'all don't know who I know. Y'all don't know who I'm gonna bring on here. You know what I'm saying?
Also, I want to say something too before we go to Jeff. I know you got a lot going on. You know, YouTube and YouTubers. I want to speak for. I'm a YouTuber. You know, I'm not up here acting like I work for Fox Sports and nothing like that. I just want to let y'all know that I don't think everybody see the value of YouTube's what we can do. I mean, I'm telling you, pushing the things forward. ESPN, they only could do but so much here at the YouTube scene. We could kind of single-handedly, you know, push as far as we can go. We could do what they say we can't do. I'm telling you, YouTube. This is the next evolution. I'm telling you, these big companies are on their way out the door. I don't think people realize what's taking place before people's very eyes. Dude's about to be up out of here. I'm telling you, YouTubers and things of that nature. Anybody with a camera is about to be elevated into something serious. And I'm telling you, and don't nobody better miss this curve when it happens, because people gonna be left out. So I appreciate everybody for tapping in with the YouTube community, because we ready to work. I'm telling you, tirelessly too, all day, all night. Wake up. I mean, we eat, sleep, and breathe this. You understand?
That's right. Either ride the wave or get drowned by the tsunami.
Facts. Jeff, give them your stations. Jeff, give them your station, your YouTube station.
The Mayweather channel, the Jeff Mayweather channel, and the Jeff Mayweather show is my podcast.
You probably want to type that inside, type that inside the chat.
I got you.
Everybody know. Say it again, Jeff. Repeat that.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the page and drop the link in the chat.
Facts.
That'd be beautiful, Flight, if you're able to get on there and chop it up with Brother Jeff.
Come on. That'd be legend. You know we're gonna slide through there, make it real wavy, and make it legendary. Come on, stop playing with us. We're gonna put on.
One thing, when you see Jeff at all the big fights, and a lot of the big fights be the guys he training. He done train those guys in some big fights and fights that's coming up. So that's important right there. That you get your whole channel out there, Jeff, because
that's the Mayweather channel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got him right here. I'm about to drop that link.
And Brother Jeff, me and you already follow each other. I'm the Dina Deck 68 on Instagram.
Okay.
All right. So, like I said, we're gonna wrap things up. Like I said, we ain't gonna hold him too long, my man. You know, it's a busy man. It's a businessman. So, without further ado, we're gonna get up out of here. It's Flight Sports TV. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. I need everybody to hit that like button. Most definitely hit that subscribe button. I told the people we jumping into this boxing scene head first. You understand? This just the start. You understand? When I said we getting in the when I said we was getting in the boxing, we was getting in the boxing. I think y'all gonna stop acting like we talking because we got lips, okay? Shout out to the Mayweather family. You already know what it is. What's good, Ray?
I apologize, but that is the biggest thing, though, that we don't want to misunderstood people. We not only just into boxing, we into everything on Flight Sports TV. Okay, we here on sports. You know, whether that's camping, it doesn't matter, because that's how big we want this to be, man. We want everybody to come with us. You know what I'm saying? Climb the ladder with us.
Yes, and we without further ado, we getting up out of here. Shout out to everybody.
I love you, brother. I love you, brother Jeff. I love you, my brother. I'm gonna call you in a minute.
Flight Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.
That's what's up.